Okay, dear comrades, my name is Andrew Irumba Katsabe, and this is Andrew Irumba Live. Now, today I am privileged to meet Comrade Arali Kasagama from Toro Kingdom. He's a prince from Toro Kingdom, and Arali Kasagama is a Africa culture diplomat. He's a diplomat of African cultures, but also is a custodian of the Messianic mission. Messianic mission. He will explain to us what that means. Arali Kasagama, you're welcome. What is Messianic mission?
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Now, greetings to our viewers across the world, and most importantly in this part of Africa.
I think you see the weather of Africa, you see the climate.
Absolutely. Africa has a vast culture, and I have been able, but all these culture are cross-cutting into one another, into a commonly known a culture of humility, which is called Ubuntu culture, which fundamentally means Ubuntu. Ubuntu, but it goes across so many, but it entirely represents two things. It represents faith, and also represents way of life.
Faith, so, are you meaning this is the Western kind of faith?
Spirituality generally. Spirituality. It represents two things. Spirituality.
Not the Western kind of.
No, spirituality is human. It's not Western. Westerners also have Western in terms of the West, Europe and America. They also have spirituality. But spirituality.
And they have tried to impose their spirituality on us through their religions. That's what I was trying to differentiate. They want us to live in their ways.
I don't know if imposing is still true, but right now we live in a free society where men decide for themselves. So we are no longer into lamentations or saying something is being imposed on us. Yes, absolutely. So spirituality is the communication of one individual with the invisible world. So
there is a world that is invisible there.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a world that people believe in. This world is wide. It has thoughts. There's a world of thoughts. That's why people sit and think. They want people sit and meditate. So this is all the invisible world. This is people sit and pray. So they're all trying to tap into the world.
Speak and tap into the invisible world. Who lives in the invisible world?
The one who is there, who is hearing you. So different people have different views. You have your own, and I have my own. So in that representation, that is what forms a part of the Messianic mission. The Messianic comes from the word Messiah. So there is
Messiah.
There is a Messiah. Yes.
Messiah.
That Messiah is globally known, so there's no need to elaborate him. So the Messiah has a mission. Now the mission of the Messiah is that all men will follow his message, and will listen from him, and he will be their shepherd, and they will listen from him and they will follow him. So I am a custodian of that Messianic mission.
Who bestowed that on you?
That you and the viewers. It is an invisible. It is a personal communication. It's a personal communication. Yes, everyone hears the voice.
So, so if I wanted also to become a custodian of Messianic mission, which cars do I board? Which road do I take? And whom do I besiege?
You have to be oriented. You have to be oriented into a path whereby.
Because when I want to become a bishop, a priest, where you should go?
Yes.
I apply, study. Now, when I want to become...
this one, you have to be oriented in a few things, but no one has to go with you. You can seek this superiority, the spiritual master, to come and meet you.
Hey.
And then he will speak to you. And then you will follow his path.
So there is that invisible world. There is that invisible.
It is whatever.
Because we are seeing this one.
Yes.
Now there is another world.
This world is real, my friend. This world is real. This is why we are here um, speaking, and many people are viewing us. Many people are listening to us. We are not in the US, we are in Africa.
But
We are
there is
in the city of Kampala in East Africa. But this message is
It's
going
going
to
global.
travel, yes, through the invisible. Yeah,
Hey. So that's the invisible
yes,
hand.
yeah, it will travel through what we call wave packets.
Wave packets.
In telecommunication, it will go through wave packets, and then it will go from a transmitter to a receiver. So, and it will enter a message.
And how it moves is
it
invisible.
enters a
There is
medium.
no road
Absolutely,
infrastructure. There is.
it enters a medium, and at the final of it, people are seeing us on the TV, people are seeing us on YouTube, people are viewing us everywhere. This is the same similar thing. So if technology has been able to bring out the invisible nature, then there should be a spiritual nature also that is invisible. And there's a spiritual nature that is also visible. There's a very basic things for us to understand. So he who has a phone, he who has anybody who has a television set, computer, already understands what I'm talking about. So the culture is very important, because for us, we are people who are deeply embedded in our culture. So we come from that perspective.
Because you're a royal member of the Babito royal clan from Toro.
The Bito dynasty is also one of the old dynasties. So it's about, but it does it's connection.
Anyway, we shall
every
deal.
human being on
We
earth.
shall deal with that later on. Now, Kasagama, I brought you purposely today to discuss about the Somalia question.
Yeah.
Somalia.
Yeah.
You've had these people have been fighting for as long as they have lived. What's the matter? What's the matter there? Because in some of your explanations when you're talking, whenever you're talking about these things, you always say Irumba. There is the visible world that we see, but there is the invisible that we don't see. And in order to answer the question of the visible, you must also answer the question of the invisible. So could there be an invisible hand, an invisible question in the Somalia question that we are not answering?
Okay, thank you so much.
Let's begin with the history of Somalia. Let's understand what could be the problem.
First of all, let's make people understand the state of Somalia. The Federal Republic of Somalia, which is the state of Somalia. Now, this is a very unique state in Africa. It is a very, very unique state from all the rest of the 54 states in Africa.
Of Africa.
It is the only state that is built on an individual.
Hey.
Yes, you can only relate this.
Somalia is built on an individual.
Somalia, you can relate it to the Israeli question. So Israel is Jacob, is a human being.
Jacob.
Yes, his name was Jacob. His name was changed to Israel, meaning God wrestler.
God wrestler.
Yes, because he wrestled with an angel of God.
Hey.
So
God wrestler.
Yes, according
because
to
he wrestled with an angel of God.
Torah, he wrestled with the angel of God. So he wrestling with an angel, the wrestler Israel. So this is an individual. So an individual, but that is it. So Somalia or Somali comes from a name called Samale.
Samale.
Yes, the etymology of this word, Samale, is also a Hebrew word. You get that? It's a Hebrew word, which definitely means requested of God. This has a relation with a person who also requested, like the statement goes from etymology, requested of God, its translation from Hebrew, that there is possibly a parent who prayed to the Creator, because that was the spirituality was the order of the ancient world. Yeah, pre-colonial, predominantly the age world, people were more spiritual, so they used to attribute everything to prayer, to communication, and all that. So here is an individual who prayed, and he got a child, and in this Hebrew word, he named the child, this son, Samale, requested of God. So Samale now moves to this land in the Hamitic region. Yes, in the Horn of Africa. Because Samale was a nomad, was a Hamite. So, and you know, the Hamitic in Africa trace their ancestry from the Ham, the biblical Ham. We use this the Ham.
Ham Chugun.
Not Ham. No.
I'm hearing the Ham
No.
Chugun. Hey.
No, this Ham is an abbreviation of some other name.
Hamis Chugun.
It's not meaning Ham. If you read the Torah, there is a name of a man called Ham. So Ham is where the Hamitic section of the ethnic people of the Hamitic, including us now today, where we come from. So Somalia is one of them. But Somalia, you will know that he has Hebrew connections, because if he doesn't have Hebrew connections, there was no way how he could have a Hebrew name. Why? Well, in Africa, we have been using our biological science that is going not DNA, but it is a cultural DNA. The cultural DNA is that you and I bring your right hand, this hand. No, this hand. You see? This hand. So
the same.
let us show them to the camera.
The palms.
So the patterns in these arms, the patterns are different. Bring the other one. The patterns. So if we want to know that you and I are not same family, they look at patterns. If a woman claimed yes, so my patterns and yours are not the same. So you see, now look at this hand. Okay, this one crosses here, this one crosses here. Yours, you have this, I don't have. Mine is stronger here, it connects with this, yours doesn't connect. Yeah? So same as my hand. You see, same as my hand.
Yes.
Mine, this one comes, you have one, you have this one, tree goes there, you have this one, you have this, you have this. My patterns are different from yours.
Yes.
So me and you are not biologically related. DNA. If I opened my gum, mine is a red gum. In the gum, there is a black. There's another black color that passes it. Every person who is related to me has it. If I removed my shoe. So then there, when Mr. Rumba would meet many girls around the village, and then you have so many come claiming that they are children of Irumba, but he was not courageous enough to tell the family. So the people, the elders will call them into the room and start to look at these things.
Palms.
They look at the patterns in the palm, hands. They look at the gum. They look at the feet. Okay, they look at their social behavior. They look at the social behavior. That is when the anatomy is confusing. The skeletal kind of features, their nose, their mouth, and all these are confusing. So they have to look at this. This is our cultural biological DNA. So if you read some deeper texts, like for Dr. Danji Houston, so you will, people of the ancient Kushite Empire, so you will realize that these plus names and these invisible things are the ones that show us where we belong. This clearly shows us where do we belong. So Samale is a Hebrew word, requested of God. So it means this man has a connection with the Hebrews, with the family of Abraham.
The family of Abraham.
Yes, he has a family. Because
it's called Somalia.
Yes, because this is
Somalia.
No, Somalia is his name. So because he came into this land in about the 5th century, so the people now, the rest of the people, after he produced, we are going to how his family expanded, then they referred to him as the Somali. Because his name is Somali. So the land where he lives is Somali. So the land is named after his name. Like Israel is a land named after Israel, after Jacob. So this was the cultural tradition.
So the other time you had said that it is only Somalia that is named after an individual.
Yes, in Africa.
In Africa.
Yeah, let's say yes, in Africa.
Okay.
So in Africa, Somali is a land that comes, so it is an entire land of one family.
Yeah, Somalia is a family property.
Yes, it's a family property of Somali.
I have made it very briefly.
And so this man, as we go forward, he has 4 children. So the first
Somalia has 4 children.
Yeah, produces 4 children.
In Somalia now.
In Somalia. So the first son is Darod.
Darod.
Yes, Darod. Darod meaning sacrifice or powerful.
Hey.
Still, that has to do with Hebrew. Okay, that's to do with the Hamitic names, the road. So yeah, sacrifice, powerful. Then he has another son.
Another
He produces deer. Or deer. Yes.
Or deer.
Deer is something dir. So something that means my own. So you look at a very happy man, and every ancient happy man, and every child is bringing, he's giving him a special name. Then he has another son who's called Hawiye.
Hawiye.
Yeah.
What does that
so
mean
this
now?
one is predominantly okay. This one now, Hawiye is a very one important. That means somebody who is dark. Like for example, here we would have, you can have children, and because that family of Abraham has a lot of connection, with the ancient Cushite people who were dark. We mostly people from Sudan who were very, very dark. And in our language, sometimes you can have a man who has children and he says, the son of mine is Makara. Makara, see? And then people say, what is his name Makara? What's his name Makara? Meaning, this one was too dark. There's no black one.
Too dark.
It's too dark. So his melanin was a little bit higher. So, and this Hawiye.
These are three.
Yes,
this is the fourth one. Mention the fourth one.
Yes, but before you come to the fourth one, this Hawiye is predominantly the person who took over the Somaliland. And Somaliland is predominantly the land of Somali. Somaliland.
Their father.
Somaliland. You get it? So it's like you come into a country. Like you see, I want to use the Israeli question so much because it's a similar question of a family question. In every of that land, the most land in Israel they treasure most is Jerusalem.
Why?
The city of David.
David is the first child.
No, it's not the first child. David is the grandchild.
So which one is the fourth? Because you said the fourth.
But David comes from Judah. So the city of Judah, the town of Judah. So Jerusalem is the city of David. So, but to also complete this one, then the fourth son is Isaac.
Isaac.
Yes. Isaac.
Isaiah.
Isaac, yes, something to mean.
In the Torah, we say Isaiah. Is that Isaiah?
Isaiah, yeah.
Yes.
So Isaac, something to mean in the Hebrew culture of what they mean, it means somebody who is jolly, a jolly child, happy.
Happy.
Yeah.
Lively.
But now, to understand this from a historical, cultural perspective, I wanted us to first understand this family. To understand the question of identity. Because if we understand the question of identity, then we will trace the people.
And then we can find out the problem.
Exactly. So from the cultural perspective, from the biological cultural perspective, it shows that these people have names of a particular ethnic group. This ethnic group is the family of the Hamites in Africa, and largely which has connections with the family of Abraham. Because these are the names that they were using, the names of that language. The etymology, the root of the word has a connection with that. Now, the problem comes. Highest indoctrination. Because as man increases, trade comes, intermarriage comes, the children of Somalia, the ones I've talked about, and the grandchildren start to marry in another Hamitic family of the Arabs.
Intermarriages.
So, exactly. So you will discover that this man Somalia and his children, the ones we've been able to speak about, the road, Dir, Hawiye, and Isaac. All these names are not Islamic names.
Hey.
Have you had an Islamic name there?
I thought all these are Islamic names. I thought they're Muslim names.
No, hold on. No, it's Somali. There's nothing here associated with that. So, but as we come close, following up the intermarriages, and now you have in the start of the 5th century, 6th, 7th century, you have Arabs who start to come into Africa. And you know, at the Somali corner, there is a very, very short connection from Somalia to Yemen. Yes, and Yemen is largely the land for the 12 tribes of Ishmael, this other son of Abraham, from this African woman called Hagar Hawa, but also something to do with dark. Hawa is something you also to relate to Hawiye, because she was so dark. Yeah, the ones they call Hagar. So this dark African woman, the entire of his 12 sons, 12 tribes, after they had left Egypt, most of them were able to settle in. So you have a connection of them coming, and you have a stronger intermarriage. And because now it was a season of trade, so the Arabs start to establish sultanates.
Sultanates.
Sultanates are like territories, because you know this culture of using kingdoms as an ancient way, monarchy structure, the structures of the ancient world. This is how the world was governed. So sultanates were more predominant of economic territories. Yes, economic territories. So you would have sultans from a bigger ruler. Yes, so these are what we call chieftaincies. So the chiefs you've been seeing in Africa, chiefs in Toro, royal chiefs, like how my grandfather succeeded with this land of Toro when he was a royal chief of his father as the first son and successor. So
where in Toro?
Absolutely. He was the chief there. He used to come and supervise on behalf of his father, like how William would supervise on behalf of his father, King Charles III, as a successor. And then the people are like, oh, no, I think this man is delaying to go. Why don't we secede and become independent? So because of these sultanates, the Arabs now introduce two things. They introduce trade with Islam.
Trade with Islam?
Absolutely. With a religion.
With a religion called Islam.
With a religion called Islam. And not just that, there comes a manipulation. Because you know now in Africa we are dealing with lies. A problem of lies. Yes, the people in religions are calling it a spirit, but for us we are calling it a problem, a challenge of lies. No, now manipulation, because of these sultanates, and starts to manipulate this family of Somalia. This family from Dir, Darod, Hawiye, and Isaac. They start to manipulate it that these are completely Arabs who crossed from Yemen. These have never been Arabs. These are typical Hamitic people.
They crossed from Yemen.
Absolutely. They did not cross from Yemen. That is a version created now by the Arab traders, wanting to cause assimilation and to cause conquest. So they did that for a very, very long time, until in 1905.
1905.
When the Italians arrived now.
In Somalia's land.
In Somalia's land, in Somalia now.
Somalia now.
In Somalia. Somalia, the land of Somalia. Yeah, Somalia. So
the Italians.
Absolutely.
1905. 1905.
So the Somali.
So now they are Yemenis so
the Italians come. But where do the Italians go? No, they're not Yemen. They're Arabs. They're sultanates. Sultanates which were now, because people had intermarried. It was a very big family. So you know, after so many years, you have so many population from the 6th century.
You have intermarried.
Up to the 19th century. We had to the 18th, and on we had jumped into the 19th century. So you have so many now. So the sultanates were there. So because the Europeans were coming and conquering even through war, they come and wipe away the sultanates
by killing them.
Wiping, possibly.
Wiping means
cleansing. But what here happens is that they remove one group and occupy.
Just like today's Americans who came and wiped out the original Red Indians and occupied America.
There were no Americans.
No, the people who occupy America now, that part, there was no America, of course. That was
America was there. The people from Europe.
Yes,
They came and occupied
that America.
Yes. So whatever methods they used them. So what I'm saying here
This is what Israel is doing in Gaza. Ethnic cleansing.
Not necessarily. I won't agree to that position. You have to separate this. These are issues of war, and the issues of war it has different
dynamics.
Different dynamics here. So
okay, let's go. Italians have arrived in 1905
Italians
in
arrived.
Somalia.
So the sultanates, all the sultanates lose their power. To
Italians?
Yes, the Italians were able to conquer the land. And so what happens later, the British also come following
the Italians.
They came following the Italians. So now one part goes to the north and another part goes to the south of Somaliland. Because originally Somaliland, Somalia has territories. So but Somaliland is the principle. It is the heart. Yes, it is the heart of Somalia, of the Federal Republic of Somalia. So they occupy it. So a lot of things are introduced, colonial administration, trade, and so on. But you will notice that from this Arab system, something called Salhiya. Something to do with Salhiya. It's about now to do with the law, Salhiya. So it is first introduced, a decree, like a law, is first introduced in Somalia into an Arab occupying Somalia. A Somalia occupied by Islamic Arabs. It is introduced there in 1890. 1890, yes, absolutely.
1890.
Yes.
Italians came in 1905.
Yeah.
This is introduced in 1890.
Earlier, it had been there earlier. You discover it had already been earlier. So, because now the world was beginning to advance, so you have many decrees. Kings would write decrees. These were sultanates. So there was a decree. So this decree was like a law. How are we trading with one another? Which and largely as it grew up is what today is called the Sharia law.
Sharia law came from these decrees.
So the issue is now you have Islam and you have Sharia law. So Islam treats itself as a family. That is the doctrine of Islam. It is a family.
But now you're in a land of Somalia.
Exactly. So Somalia has been
your own land,
manipulation for years, conquest. This is what the leaders don't agree. That's what happened in Somalia.
Is a conquest.
They keep crying about Italy, Britain, and so on. No. The primary person to cry about is Islamic Arabism. Islamic Arabism is what manipulated and converted and changed the family of Somalia and his four sons from their indigenous nomadic Hamitic culture and brought very different things that of course Muhammad and his group had made in Mecca and Medina, in those lands in Arabia.
So the problem in Somalia is historical.
So now as we have come unpacking levels, so what is the real issue here in Somalia? So Arab conquest, wherever it went in Africa and the rest parts of the world, it was about trade. Because trade is part of human life, trade and commerce. Because it deals with sustaining lives. People have to eat. People have to live. And so they have to trade. And it also deals with the consolidation. Yes, if
power and control.
If you have been in markets, if you have been in the market, if you have your clients,
You
you'd want to consolidate.
yeah.
Absolutely. You'd want to consolidate your clients.
Power and
Yes,
control.
so that you can keep your supply chain
Yes,
moving.
yes.
Because your supply chain is your bloodline. Is how you feed.
That's your survival.
That's your survival.
Yes.
Absolutely. So
Yes.
Islam is not just a religion. That's why it is a system. Because it has rules, it has the law, it has a system. So to the Arabic Islams now today who manifest themselves in all these of their countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, so wherever the rule extended from the command center of the faith, which is Mecca, it meant sustaining their lives. Okay? It meant sustaining their lives. So when you have Italians come in and the British, they come in with different systems. They come, first of all, the Italians come in with the Roman Catholic Church. You get it? So in this land of Somalia, as the sultanates had built mosques, they established churches. When the British come in, they also come with their spirituality. Because they had broken off from the Roman Catholic Church and established under King James the Protestant Church, they also established a spiritual system, administrative system. Basically to do two things, but one is the most important thing: trade, economic resources.
Economic empowerment.
Yes, resources, economic resources. Empowerment is when it goes, it empowers to wherever it goes. But whereas it is still here, these are resources. So the British come. But when you reach into such a place, this is now where I bring your part that you love, the invisible.
The invisible.
The invisible is when you sit back at your table and you say, why did the road not purchase my millet or my rice and decided to continue purchasing the one of Hawiye? And me,
and he knew I had it.
And I had it, and
he knew.
Yes, that no. Then Deer comes and tells you, no, the road cannot buy from you because he has been taught by Muhammad, and he has told them and has taught them that you are not part of their family, so they cannot sustain you. Your rules are not fair. Yes, you are not part of them. So what comes out of you if you must survive?
It's a fight now.
Yes, absolutely. So now it becomes to be a fight of survival. So you have to first
scramble for the fitness.
You have to first destroy. You have to dismantle that mentality. In fact, to you, it would be a mediocrity. Yeah, it would be a mediocrity. It would be mediocrity. It would be an unwanted kind of doctrine.
Yeah.
Because it is a doctrine of
and you must fight to destroy it.
Exactly.
That will be your ultimate mission.
Absolutely.
Fight to destroy it. Okay.
So this is what happens. Now, if you have tried to understand how the Muslim Brotherhood works and its indoctrination of the Sharia law and how the Western system works, you know that these are two things that cannot meet. So historically, the Arabs, the Islamic Arabs, allied more with the East than the West. They allied themselves more to the communist world than the capitalist world. It is largely because of the principles, market principles. And so, the desire, this religious indoctrination that you have seen of interfaiths conquering others and so on has been on and continues to go on its agendas. So this now takes us to the third part after understanding the problem of the second part. So if you have to look at Somalia as a people, first of all, the question of Al-Shabaab now comes.
Hey, Somali.
Yes.
Al-Shabaab
Al-Shabaab comes in and starts a war.
Who is sponsoring Al-Shabaab and where are they coming
Yes,
from?
but yes, we are going to ask ourselves those questions are what we are going on. They come in and start a war. First of all, we have said that the entire Somalia is a country of one family. So who is Al-Shabaab fighting? No. Let's reason together. The entire Somalia and its regions is one family. These clans all come from those four boys we talked about.
Yes.
So Al-Shabaab is emerging out as a rebel group fighting within Somalia. Whom is it fighting?
If you have to answer, then you need to know.
As an investigative journalist.
I need to know who
because
has sent it.
There are no Ugandans in Somalia. There are no Kenyans. They are not Baganda there. They are not people of Toro like me and you. They are not there. Who are they fighting?
Answer that question.
The people, they are fighting themselves.
They are fighting themselves?
Yes. This one family fighting itself.
Hey, Al-Shabaab?
Yes.
So Al-Shabaab comes from within them?
From within
the four
them.
families?
So it is a question of doctrine.
The four families?
Yes, it is a question of disagreement.
So one of them created the...
Absolutely. It is a question of people who have disagreed.
A family that has some disagreement.
Absolutely, within itself. And because the family has disagreed with itself, it decides to go at war with itself.
At the cost of other people in the country?
No, at the cost of itself.
Oh, I mean, right now...
There's no other people.
Hey.
Look at them as one family. Because of ideology. And the ideology is economic. Why is it economic? Here I'll dig you into. Because at the height of their rule, everybody is talking about how Somalia was at peace with Sharia law. But who is praising it? First of all, if we are to ask ourselves, when the Italians and the British overtook the sultanates, the political class,
the elite class,
yes, or the bourgeoisie, yes, of that sultanate class, where did they go? The ruling class. It's like in Ugandan history. His family is part of the ruling class. To date, they are very rich. Yes, they are still around, the grandchildren and the children and the grandchildren, and they are rich. Obote's family.
They are also still around.
Yes, Nyerere's family in Tanzania.
They are still around.
Mzee Jomo Kenyatta's family. So the sultanates, the rich families of the sultanates, where are they? And who are they? So what is their say in the political trajectory of Somalia? Do they also want a one family state, Somalia, with the Sharia law? What do they want? With alliance only to Islamic Arab world, and no other, and partnership? Yes, not even any other Western country, and not even any other country. What do they want, and where are they? Now these ones have to be put on table, and have to be they have to be listened to.
But do they understand it? According to you,
this they know.
If the war is amongst themselves, are they aware of these facts?
Which facts?
That it is they are one family.
Of course, they know. And so, because they deeply know this, and what they are facing is an ideological disagreement between them. So the principal people of the place, this is why recently they said, no way, we do not agree to whatever is continuing to. Now the children, Somaliland was largely occupied by the clan of Hawi, the one we talked about, the dark one. Yeah, it was
Majority of them.
Yeah, majority of them. So that's the majority clan in that one. So the Sultanate families, these old political class, what is their say? They have a participation in this. We have to find out from them. Also, the other problem of how do they view the world? Yes, how do they view the world? You know, it is very funny. Uh, for, you know, Somali is not different from many of the African countries because they have largely not an advanced education. But the other issue is that they've been able to go into many countries in the world. Now, being able to live outside their own country is that they are influenced by the cultures where they are, which is a very good case. So they are learning.
They are learning.
Yes, they are seeing
it's
absolutely. They are seeing how things are done in America, how things are done in Europe, how things are done in Africa, in many of the African countries where they occupy. Now they have a bigger perspective. So you have a small remnants.
remnants.
Yes, you have remnants of backwardness.
Yeah, you have used a very strong word.
Yes, remnants of backwardness. Yes, backwardness and the religious indoctrination.
Wrong.
Yes, religious indoctrination of how things don't work. They don't know that interfaith people can sit together and have a meal together, can sleep in one house, can play football together, can do many other things together, and even actually marry amongst each other.
Intermarry.
Yes. Intermarry, marrying amongst themselves. So to them, all these things are not possible, and all these things are evil.
Yeah.
Because
they are evil.
Yes, because of the medieval scholars of Islam.
Medieval scholars of Islam.
Yes, you know, Islam had some kind of sheikhs and other medieval sheikhs. You listen to them, they gave very, very perspectives that were very wrong. Unfortunately, many modern day Islamic scholars don't agree with those positions. It was a misinterpretation.
Extremism.
Yeah, it was a misinterpretation and understanding. Yeah, it was a misinterpretation and understanding. But
okay.
however, the remnants, like I do call them, the remnants of backwardness, of religious indoctrination, try to tell these boys that we can have a one family state again built on the Sharia law. That is impossible, and it will not happen under the land, under the
They want to build the country under Sharia law.
That will not happen under the sun. It is a white elephant. It does not exist in the forest of Africa. It does not exist.
It is a white elephant
which does not
exist in
the forests of Africa.
Araali Kasagama. Araali Kasagama. Now, Araali, as we wind up, now you have diagnosed the history, the problem. Can we, in the next 5 minutes, try to now find solutions? Now that you have identified the historical challenges of Somalia, what are the probable solutions going forward? Because they are towards we talk right now. So a Somali who is listening to you right now, what advice should he pick from Kasagama, from Toro? What do they need to do going forward?
This is an African perspective. First one, I know these videos go to many people. After so many years, this message will be listened to so many people. Anybody who is backing up this war or its doctrine, the Al-Shabaab war, in this month of Ramadan, you need to repent and you need to abandon that Sikh ideology and agenda.
You call it backwardness.
Yes. Anybody who is backing that agenda in this Ramadan,
Backward agenda.
in this Ramadan, I want to appeal to you.
To repent.
Your whole purpose of fasting and repentance is about that Sikh ideology and agenda, that white elephant project. You have to abandon it first on the go.
Okay, that's number one.
That's number one. Number two,
solution.
there is a need for the people who are living within and outside Somalia to start on a constitutional process. This constitutional process, it has to be backed by the student movement, the youth movement, the women movement, and it's a command that you start on a constitutional process.
Democratize.
Yes. So that you can have a constitution. And in this constitutional movement, you have to learn from how other countries where you have been taken. These countries, Uganda, Kenya, USA, Britain, wherever, France, Germany, wherever you have been taken, Canada, you need to learn at their constitution order in regard to international law. And you come up with a written constitution. In this written constitution, it has to dissect and separate various aspects. The aspect of your identity must be brought out very clear. This history that we are talking about.
Identity question.
Yes, even in your religious, even in your schools, your identity must be taught and very clear. That you are grandchildren of Somali who come from these 4 boys, and your family, your identity has come, and that identity has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with Arabs. It has nothing to do with Europe. It has nothing to do with America. It has nothing. It is about
it has everything to do with yourself,
your Hamitic family,
your identity
of your father who
you as a human being.
In your father who in African culture or in African ways of life, we call it kutembura, to discover. Yes, to discover. It is Somali who discovered Somalia. So Somali is named after Somali. So you have the constitution, and even in your education system, your identity must be addressed. Yes. Then after that, in the constitution, we have to address the issue of, in a land, the day you had Arabs coming, that is inseparable. You can't take them back. Many of them came. They are not natives, by the way. They are citizens. Let me tell them. If there are any Arabs in Somalia, you are not natives.
You are citizens.
You are citizens. Because you do not come from Somalia. Yes, outrightly. Yes. If there are Italians who remained in Somalia, you are not natives. You are citizens.
And you have rights.
Because you have citizenship.
You have rights.
Yes. Because you do not come from the family of Somalia. So are the British and other people who are going to come. Now, while they live in this land, all these people, they have their freedom, inborn, inherent freedom.
As citizens.
Yes. Freedom to way of life, freedom to worship
as
in
citizens.
Their own way. Yes.
As citizens, not as natives.
Yes, even amongst themselves. They have rights and freedoms to interrelate with others. Now, all their freedoms of these natives and citizens must be enshrined in this constitution of Somalia. And they must be respected. And the law must respect them, must accord them, and bring to account anybody who will be found to cause
contravening the constitution.
Yes, to do things to commit now crimes that are contrary to the law established. Now,
the law of the land.
Exactly. While you do this, now this will be the process that will begin to eliminate the rebellious sympathizers who have refused to repent in the month of Ramadan, to repent of this Sikh ideology of Al-Shabaab and others of the country of the Sharia law. This constitutional order, this peace is going to begin picking them one out of, and the whole then Somalia will begin to blossom and develop very rapidly and continue to prosper. This is the entire this is the entire way of how we as countries maintain peace. But the people themselves have to conduct a revolution. Yes, have to spearhead a revolution that brings the constitution and even naming. You know, let me tell you one thing that many people fail. Because you hear some Somalis talk to you and say sometimes it is difficult. You find you are in the house, you have 3 sons, and one of them is Al-Shabaab and the 2 are not, and then you're in one house. But then you fear still security. The Somali National Army, you fear still the security.
Because they will pick him.
Yeah, because they will take your son and they will kill him. No, that one is already not a son. You Somali Africans, I want you to understand the theory of the cat. There is one animal you love so much, the cat. Who's a cat?
Cat.
So when it produces its young ones, do you know what it does?
Comes at night and
Scares
them. Those that run, they become in return Ibsus. Those that remain, those are now the cats.
Absolutely. So, any person in your household who joined Al-Shabaab,
that's the other cat that ran
the wild cat.
The wild cat.
Yes, Ibsus.
Should be there. It should be killed.
No, they should take to the law system, to the legal system. Yes, that one take to the law.
That's the wild cat.
That one does not belong to you. Let them be taken to the Department of Corrections.
That's prison.
Yes, the Department
You're
of
only being diplomatic.
the Department of Corrections is trained to correct them, rehabilitate, and bring back to the community.
Society.
Yes, any child, surrender him to the law. This is why we want a constitution. We're not talking about killing. Killing is a rudimentary
Method.
and stupid method sometimes. Yeah, it is very, very often a very stupid method. But the method is take them to the law, let the law send them to the Department of Corrections. When they are corrected and rehabilitated, they will be brought back. And they will continue to be good people.
Okay, thank you very much, Comrade
Thank you so much.
Araali Kasagama,
So
Africa culture diplomat and custodian of the Messianic mission in Uganda. Araali Kasagama,
In Africa.
In Africa.
Yes, sir.
It's always a pleasure meeting. You see, you are a man of history. You have a lot of history, so it's always a pleasure actually meeting and interacting with you.
My pleasure, sir.
This is Andrew Irumba Live, and yes, this has been Comrade Kasagama Araali from Toro. He's a royal member of the ruling clan, the Babito clan in Toro. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.